Chapter 2, Weakness of Morals, Proof of Lack of Faith. Faith is imperfect without morality. Faith is such a power that it keeps men away from low attributes and mean acts, and encourages him to achieve high attributes and clean morals. That is why whenever Allah called his slaves towards virtue, or whenever he wanted them to hate evil, he declared it as an essential requirement of the faith in their hearts. For example, when he, in Surah Tawbah, commands men to adopt righteousness and to speak truth, he addresses them as, O you who have faith, or O you who believe, O you who have faith, fear Allah and be with the truthful people. Tawbah 119. Allah's Messenger has nicely explained it that when faith is firm and belief is strong, then strong and lasting moral will be developed. And if the moral character is low, then faith will accordingly be weak. A man who is immodest and ill-mannered and who adopts bad habits without caring for others is like the person about whom the Holy Prophet has said, modesty and faith are twins. One who gives up one has to lose the other too. Once the Prophet passed by an Ansari who was admonishing his brother about modesty. The Prophet said, let him be, for modesty is part of faith. A man who harasses his neighbor and makes him suffer any kind of damage is called cruel and stone-hearted by the religion. In this connection, the decision of the Prophet is, by God he cannot be a mu'min. By God he cannot be a mu'min. By God he cannot be a mu'min. He was asked, who? He answered, he from whose misdeeds his neighbor is not safe. Bukhari. The Holy Prophet advises his companions to keep away from the talk that is trash, the acts that are wicked, and the deeds that are senseless. He says, a person who believes in Allah and the hereafter should speak about good things or else should keep quiet. Bukhari. In this way, through the truth of faith and by means of its perfection, noble qualities are nurtured and developed, and they are guarded and kept secure till they bear fruits. Rose disrupted, heart sad, prayers tasteless. However, you will also find such people who will be calling themselves Muslims, yet they will be lazy in offering compulsory prayers and will be posing in public as if they are very keen on establishing these prayers. But they will not lag behind at the same time in acting in such a way that will be contrary to the demands of the noble character and perfect faith. Such people have been warned by the Holy Prophet, and the Ummah has been asked to be careful of them. A man who commits the mistake of performing the various forms of worship without understanding their significance can only be a man who had not understood the spirit of the worship or has been unable to rise to that standard. Many times even a child can copy the movements of Salat and is able to repeat what is recited during the prayer. Sometimes an actor also offers prayer with all humility and concentration and performs all the necessary rites. But these kinds of movements do not benefit belief or meet the purpose. There is only one way of offering prayers in the best manner or performing other forms of worship that will never bring out wrong results, and that is high moral character. Any person who has this attribute in him, his prayer is useful. But one who is deprived of this attribute, his worshipping is useless. It is narrated by Imam Ahmed. One person asked the Prophet, O Messenger of Allah, a certain woman is very famous for her prayers, fasting, and many charities, but she talks rudely with her neighbors. Tell me, what will be her fate? He replied that she would go to hell. Then that person asked, O Messenger of Allah, another woman does not do much by way of prayers and fasting, gives pieces of cheese in charity, and does not harm her neighbors. He replied, she is of the paradise. Who is poor? One day the Prophet asked his dear companions whether they knew who was poor. They answered that poor was one who had no dirham or dinar, money. He said, in my ummah, the poor is that man who would appear on the day of the judgment before Allah He had offered prayer, he had paid zakat, he had observed fast, but he would have abused somebody, he would have falsely accused someone. He would have unauthorizedly taken someone else's property. He would have murdered someone, would have hit somebody. All his virtues would be given to his victims. If his virtues are finished before his wicked deeds are finished, then the errors and sins of the victims would be given to him, and he would be thrown into hell. Muslim, such a man is really poor. His condition is like that trader who has goods worth 1,000 rupees, but he is a debtor for 2,000 rupees. How can such a man be called rich? A religious man who offers certain prayers or performs certain forms of worship, but even after that performs certain evil deeds, behaves rudely with the people, treats poor and helpless people cruelly, how then such a man will be called righteous? When wickedness is nourished in the self, and the loss caused by it has become manifest and the danger has increased, then that man has come out of his religion like a nude who has come out of his garments. At that time his claim of righteousness or faith would be false. What will be the value of religiousness without good morality? How is it possible that a man should belong to Allah and at the same time he should be a victim of corruption? This relationship between faith and morality is clearly shown in the hadith of the Holy Prophet. The man who has these three habits is a hypocrite, even if he observes fast, offers prayers, performs umrah, pilgrimage, and calls himself a Muslim. When he talks, he speaks untruth. When he makes a promise, he does not keep it. And when he is given something in trust, he commits dishonesty. Muslim. In another tradition he has said, there are three signs of a hypocrite. When he talks, he speaks untruth. When he makes a promise, he does not keep it. And when he makes a contract, he deceives, although he may be offering prayers, observing fast, and calling himself a Muslim. He has also said, there are four habits in whosoever they are found, he will be a complete hypocrite. If any one of these habits is found in a man, he will have one habit of disruption till he gives it up. When something is given to him in trust, he commits dishonesty. When he talks, he tells lies. When he makes a contract, he deceives. And when he quarrels, he starts abusing. Bukhari. The following hadith saying of Prophet Muhammad, may Allah's blessings and peace be on him, is from Sahih al-Bukhari, narrated Abu Huraira. Allah's Messenger, may Allah's blessings and peace be on him, said, anybody who believes in Allah and the last day should not harm his neighbor, and anybody who believes in Allah and the last day should entertain his guests generously, and anybody who believes in Allah and the last day should talk what is good or keep quiet.